those have, we're done. Right? No soft ones. So we're rolling again. We still want to do a store.
Store for
Space.
space.
A store for space. What if there was a store for space?
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually don't think this is a bad one.
No, I don't think so either.
Everybody remembers space camp, right? Everybody has some. Maybe they didn't go to space camp, but they're aware of like, oh yeah, like people in TV shows, they went to space camp. It was just like you went off there, right? I think people love the concept of space. They love the draw of it, but like, what do you do right now? Like if I wanted to like get close to space, like I would hope that my museum had a section.
Yeah.
Like you don't really have a ton of options. So I think one option is this is like a pseudo kids area, but it's like a mini science center where you go and it's like it's a science focused kids area where you're going in and it's like welcome to Space Land, and it's like a fun, and it's not for little kids, but it's for like
for kids that
kids
are
in
of
elementary
the space
school,
interest
the
age.
space interest age.
Yeah.
Probably you would stop at 8th, 9th grade.
Yeah.
But it's like stop playing. You learn about space. There's NASA stuff there.
You're just pitching a museum to me, like a children's museum.
Yeah, but this could be like you could franchise this where it's like it's like an aquarium or a zoo where you like you go a couple times where it's like I want to go to this like Space Land area. Like I think it would be kind of fun. Like there's like fun stuff. I think people would go, especially depending how big it was. Like you get a membership and go a couple times a year
to a space thing.
To a space thing that's equivalent to a zoo or an aquarium or like.
Oh, but they're showcasing.
It's space stuff, but there's activities, and it's like, all right, now here's the lunar jump, and now here's the space sand, and now here's the all these activities.
I like the comparison to like a zoo or an aquarium. It's like we got land, we got sea.
Yeah,
we should have something for space.
The final frontier.
Yes, exactly.
As they say.
So I kind of get into that.
Okay.
And I think like a dedicated space with a lot of like experiential learning.
Yeah, totally.
I think I can get into that. What do we call it? A spaceteria?
Space. There's got to be like a LunarLand or something like that.
LunarLand. Oh, I hate that. It sounds like just scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's some perfect name out there for this. That's like duh.
Okay. Stores for space.
Can you top space zoo?
Where my mind went immediately was like there's something, somebody here even has one that's like buy a piece of foil from the Apollo.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of thing. And I think that maybe there's room for that to be like, this is not an idea at all, but there's room for that to maybe be a mall store.
Buy Neil Armstrong's jockstrap.
Yes, exactly. Basically, right? Where it's like you go to the mall and the mall has a little kiosk and it's full of stuff that's from space.
Dude, I don't know if enough people want that stuff.
And you can get your space pen. No, I know that, but it's a mall store for a reason. It's because somebody wants it.
Now, here's an idea.
Mall stores are storage for items that nobody wants.
Here's an idea. This is it. I've just solved it. So the new age healing, right? Crystals, aromatherapy.
Yes.
Right. So we get Wim Hof. We get a bunch of moon rocks, right?
Okay.
And now you have a whole new MLM of like in space. There's no contagions. Everything is alkaline. Everything is this. And so by rubbing these space moon rocks on your body or whatever,
you're safe.
Now, granted, you're gonna have to get these rocks
from the moon.
From the moon,
maybe, or you just run some regular rocks through a tumbler, and all of a sudden they're moon rocks.
All of a sudden they're moon rocks. So
another idea. Yeah.
We've simulated moon rocks on Earth, but they're essentially the same.
Yes.
Healing properties.
They're moon rocks comparable compared to a rock from the moon.
Yeah. And you sell it as like a health, a zany health thing.
Yeah. Okay. All good ideas. We have mall stores, we have an MLM, and we have a LunarLand.
LunarLand.
If you have a better idea for a space store, write in idea@costellosidea.com.
That'd be tough to beat.
Definitely.
All right, let's wrap up the episode, Andre. We're going to wrap up with a steelless joystick. Andre has a good one. I have the semblance of a good... I was thinking about this idea for a video game, but I want to hear yours because I think yours is a little more fleshed out than mine. Maybe.
Then Scott overestimates me every time. It's so annoying. So been playing VR a lot, and my go-to game. And I don't want people to listen to the podcast and think like, that you've really, gotten into a podcast with like a bad person, but been playing mostly online poker in VR.
Really?
So obviously not for money. That's illegal. But there's this game called PokerStars VR, and it's like it's very interesting, and I'm obsessed with the concept, which is basically like you're playing poker, not for real money, not for real prizes. Right. There's no real money equivalent. Let's be clear.
Got it.
And I enjoy Texas Hold'em, just like many people do.
Many people do.
One of my favorite games. But you're in VR, so you can look left and see the dealer, and you look right and you see another player.
If somebody happens to be like flip their cards up, you can kind of see.
Mm-hmm. Like all these things are there, and you can throw your chips in. Like you can grab your pot. Like it's very interactive, and there's voice chat. So like you're turning around, you're turning to people, you're talking to people, you're heckling people, doing all the things that are fun to do.
You don't have pocket aces.
Exactly, right? It's actually a really, really fun game.
Interesting.
And it's not a gambling addiction that drives it. It's I like the social aspect, and I like the game.
That craps.
And this is where I'm headed, which is right now, and I've kind of been through this before because I do genuinely enjoy most casino games, but I do not enjoy playing them in real life because of the money aspect. I just hate losing money.
It's a losing
But
game.
what's really rewarding for me is getting online currency, and then like you buy a goofy hat or whatever, right? And that's part of a lot of different games. So what's surprising to me is that there has not, I know this for a fact because I've thoroughly researched it. There has not been a player that has ever been able to do this successfully. This concept of like an online
casino that's not
that doesn't translate to real money, so you get out of the whole weird regulatory thing, but also has a great progression path for like buying items and upgrading your experience. And this PokerStars VR thing gets so close, but it only offers poker, which is a game that most people know how to play a Hold'em but aren't very good at it or are challenged by it, where like roulette and craps and like all these other games are all fairly easy. People know how to play them. I think that there's a real room in the category to just take all of these different casino games, put them in VR where it's fun and it's like interactive, and all those motions also happen to be captured by VR, right? Where VR does a very poor job of capturing like sprinting a marathon because you can't run, right? But gambling is all stationary, right? Like it can, the whole experience can be captured in VR.
Totally.
And I think if there was a game that could do it well and have many different types of games and could build a progression path that made sense and had great voice chat and all these other things, that it would be hugely successful and that hundreds of people would be interested. Hundreds of people would go out and buy these things.
I'll do you one better, Andre.
Okay.
There's already a franchise that you could steal from to make this perfect.
Okay.
In 1995, Caesar's Palace on the SNES made an SNES game called Super Caesar's Palace. And it was just, you can walk around and play.
Did you have this game or you just remember it?
I had this game.
And
you can just walk around and just play games.
Hit A and all of a sudden you're playing.
You're playing craps, you're playing. And it's like, you're just earning fake money and that's it.
Yes.
And then if you ever zeroed out, like you just have to start a new game. You can see how far you can get and try and get into the high stakes room and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
This is a really crappy game, obviously.
Of course.
But like, it's a game on an SNES, which is like not plugged in the internet.
Yes.
There's no money involved. But people bought it. I had it.
Yes.
So I think that
people
want it. Yes. Like there's something fun about gambling.
And I think that the counterpoint that people have made to me about this, because I've been pitching the idea before even VR, which is like, why isn't there a game that does this well, like Second Life, but in a casino, basically?
Totally.
And the argument is always just that, like, gamblers won't play this game and people won't play this game because there's no money involved. And I think like the crazy fanaticism people feel about like limited time items, things like that. Like I know that people will grind in-game currency to get in-game items. I know it because you see it in every other game.
Yeah. One thing that anytime I play a game and there's like developers want feedback, I'm like, this is what you need to do in your game. Don't fundamentally change the game. Just provide short-term experiences that can only happen when you do a certain thing. So it's like you get a jetpack for 30 seconds and then it goes away forever.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't fundamentally change the game. It's an experience that you get. And if you want someone to pay for that, they can, or they can grind for it, right?
Yeah.
In a game like this where it's a casino and it's like what you can buy is emotes and you can buy like crazy funny costumes and maybe you get access to some like more interesting games that like other people can't play. But guess what?
Or you're grinding to get to the high stakes room, right? Which is also